Hello everybody, you got Keith here with AL13, and today we're going to talk about the Extrusion Kit Box. In this box we have all our components required to build an AL13 product system. So we have a couple of major components, well they're all major components, but the back end of the system are these three components right here, actually these four components of the system. This is a half backplate, this is a full backplate, this is a I-beam or panel stiffener, and this is a system clip. This particular system clip is for a plank system. That's why it has a hole in the center that allows the plank to slide back and forth. So when it's on the wall, it actually goes on like this. And then when it's on the wall, when you have a screw here and it expands and contracts, this moves back and forth. We also have, in the kit, we don't put all our system clips in, but we just want to show you what a system clip is. So, but there are other system clips, like for instance, here we have a 4mm system clip, which it basically is for a 4mm panel. We also have a 3mm system clip for a 3mm panel, and that it basically gives the difference between the back end of the component and to the top of here is actually 4mm perfect, so a panel fits in nice and tight there. So half back plates require, there's various ways to use a half back plate. In this scenario here, what we've done is we've put a half back plate here, and we can either have I usually like to show people this. I just kind of do this and then do this, and you'll see that these two components work together with a half back plate. And what that's meant for is if you have a window, let's say there's a window here, you can trim a window out with these perimeter caps. So what I've put on here is a reveal perimeter and a flat perimeter. Okay, and the perimeter meaning it has this leg here that is painted as well. So the paint is applied all the way through here and to the edge here. And the paint on this side is applied from here and over here. The underside doesn't get the full finish paint, only these top edges here, okay? So you'll end up with a nice finished edge. So if, let's say this is a window, coming out a bit, you'll see that it'll have a nice finished edge when you're coming up against a product like that, okay? So keep that in mind around windows and doors typically, or in a fascia scenario as well at the bottom of the fascia. And I'll explain that in a second. So with a full back plate, your typical components that are used are a reveal cap and a flat cap. Okay, you'll see that a reveal cap and a flat cap, what happens here is if you're using a plank system, the plank will fit on this side and another plank will fit on this side. This is typically used in a scenario where you have a 24-foot length section, and this allows for the expansion and contraction of that 24-foot length, so you don't end up with a gap between the two. Okay. We also can use in a rain screen scenario. We also can use these guys on the bottom of a half back plate. Okay. Again, a reveal cap and a flat cap at the bottom of a wall. And I'll show you right here. This is an example of why we do that, is because we want in the pressure equalized range screen test, we want our system at any horizontal section to only touch the wall 20% of the time, and 80% of the time needs to be fully open with a 10mm gap. So that's why we use a half back plate. And then what people do here is they'll put a bug screen here so bugs don't get up inside, but that would end up being at the bottom of a wall where you're completing, full installation, you want that water to be able to get through if anything gets in there, and the pressure equalization keeps the pressure the same at the back and at the front of the panel, to allow for things to dry out if you do have a water problem due to a bad flashing or some sort of leak around a window. Okay, so that's what we do here. So these components, again, remember, these 4 components are part of a 2-piece setup. Again, either a half backplate scenario or a full backplate scenario. These get painted. So the painted part of these guys, which we didn't explain, but these are the reveals. Obviously, you can see the paint portion goes up and around and over, and then this flat portion is painted as well, okay? So that's, these are my 2-piece, I call them my 2-piece painted mechanical fasteners. That's the other really important piece of our puzzle, is these are the mechanical fasteners of our system. We don't require our plank or our panel to be face fastened by any manner. The face fasteners are these components. They've been tested with a test we call ASTM E330, and that's a structural test, and it gives us a value, a pounds per foot value, that allows us to go up on high rises and in high wind load areas and things like that. And you can talk to your TM to get these tests that I talk about through this process here, just so you know, and you can give those to your envelope engineers. The next piece is this this I-beam. Okay, so you've probably seen a lot of these in construction and, you know, big beams on in buildings. Well, this I-beam does the exact same thing for us. It stiffens the panel. So in large format scenarios, just grab a panel here. This is a 4mm panel. You may have seen this in my last video for the, this basically goes in the mock-up board here. So what we do with the panel is we like to see this panel, we have an adhesive tape that gets put on the skinny side. So you got a fat side and a skinny side. So, and we also have this drag line here, we call it. So where the drag line is where you're going to apply your double-sided 3M tape that we will provide you. Please use our tape because it is tested with that tape, as it's a high tensile tape. I think I'm using the right word. But anyway, so you're going to stick that on the back of the panel, and keep in mind, because of our rain screen, you do not want to, if this is a wall, okay, going up and down from up and down here, you can't have this going horizontal on the back of the panel. Okay, because that impedes on that 80-20 rule that I was talking about earlier. So make sure you install that vertically on the panel so that we're still only 20% touching, or sorry, not touching, but 20% within that 10mm gap, okay? So this is also designed not to touch the wall. It will sit away from the wall about 1/8 of an inch once you apply it to the back of the panel. Do not fasten this to the substrate. It's not meant for that. It's only meant to be using our tape on the back of the panel vertically, okay? And talk to your TM again to make sure you have that information correct on how many you need on your panel, okay? So that's that part of it. The next part of it, we'll talk about our one-piece components, okay? So I call these the one-piece components because, as you can see, we've incorporated the back end of it into the top part of it, okay? So this is an outside corner, and this, if this is your building, this will go like that. You will have a plank coming in here, or a panel coming in here, and another one coming up on the side like that, okay? Or a panel, again, panel to panel, or you can go panel to plank. That's the beauty of this whole system, is all these components are interchangeable with either the panel or the plank itself, right? So this is a plank, that's a panel, but we're using the same components, which is the beauty. So again, you have these drag lines. These is where you screw into the substrate on either side. This part gets painted on this outside corner, okay? Now if we move to the inside corner, So I can show you what an inside corner goes on an inside wall, okay? I'll pull that out over here, okay? This is where your panel and panel, or panel and plank, or plank and plank, this part gets painted only, okay? This gets screwed, you'll see the three line drag lines, and that gets screwed into the wall, okay? So that's your inside corner one piece. And we have one last piece, the end frame. So the end frame again, you can have your plank going in like that, or your panel will go in like that as well. These are your drag lines that you will use to screw into the wall. These drag lines basically hold the tip from sliding out on you. Very important. And this is where your clip gets fastened if you're using a panel system. And this is what gets painted on this side, only the top and the side here, okay? So that's your finished painted section. I didn't explain the clip. Again, clip goes here or here. And then with the outside corner again, clip goes here and here, okay? So again, refer to your TM if you have any questions about anything else. The next thing that we're going to talk about is what we have in the box is a piece of 4-inch, actually this is a 6-inch, my apologies, 6-inch plank and a perforated vent strip. Okay, so you can just kind of do something like this to show sort of how it looks on the wall. These come in 12-foot lengths normally, as well as these, and everything gets painted with the wood grain on it as well, okay, with a finished product. Again, these are just components so you guys can play around and figure things out as you're looking at your drawings. And when you receive our estimates, everything is color-coded in a legend on the side, and you can take each component and understand exactly what you're using and where we've allowed for that. So if you don't want to use our suggested method of installation, you can play around and see if there's other ways that you'd like to pull it together, and then let your TM know and we can readjust your estimate if you need to. So that's it for this extrusion box. Very excited to kind of show you guys that. Again, AL13.com. I'm Keith Borg. That's all you got to do. Subscribe.